Canada's corporate ethics watchdog is investigating whether Walmart, Hugo Boss, and Diesel have forced labor in their supply chains. Sherry Meyerhofer, the ombudsperson for responsible enterprise, issued 3 reports last week, which say none of those companies have done enough to demonstrate that the products they sell in Canada are free of slave labor. The Canadian subsidiaries of all 3 companies are accused of relying on suppliers who source materials from Uyghur people forced to work in China's Xinjiang region. Walmart, Hugo Boss, and Diesel all say that they uphold strong anti-slavery protocols and investigate the source of their products. Well, joining us now to discuss the issue of forced labor in China is Mr. Kayum Masimov, project manager at the Uyghur Rights Advocacy Project. Mr. Masimov, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, back in 2021, Forum Daily did a special report on the Uyghur genocide in China, and you were part of that report, sir. We highlighted cotton and tomato products in particular as being connected to forced labor in China. So can you tell our viewers a little bit more about this and the conditions that Uyghur people are subject to in these forced labor camps that are present in Xinjiang?
Thank you for having me. I'd like to start with correcting and making a significant but small but very significant correction here. Xinjiang in Chinese means new domain, new frontier, and it's a colonialist name which is largely rejected by Uyghur people. So we refer to our homeland as East Turkestan. You can still refer to this as a Uyghur region because officially in Chinese constitution, it's labeled as Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Coming back to the survivors, I have interviewed many. And when I interview them, they recall being subjected to 17, 18 hours long forced labor, sleeping on the cement floor, and eating food, which I would like to quote here, you would not feed to your animals. And detainees all recount the stories of physical, verbal, psychological, and sexual abuse. So one more phenomenon in this, that enforced labor is not confined to the concentration camps per se. There is a growing tendency of forceful relocation of millions of ethnic Uyghurs, Kazakhs to work as slaves in interior coastal areas of China.
Some very, very concerning details there, sir. Now, when it comes to these cotton and tomato products, they're often processed into other popular items like ketchup or clothing items. So can you tell our viewers a little bit more about the various products that can be connected to the forced labor of Uyghurs in China?
Well, you're right. When we say cotton grown in China, we have to know that the 90% of cotton within China comes from Uyghur region exclusively. And the Chinese textile constitutes 30% of the world cotton supply. Apart from cotton and tomato, I would like to mention the following items as solar panels, car components, electric batteries, agriculture, toys, plastic. For example, plastic, polyvinyl, it consists of 10% of global supply, and etc.
Some very concerning details, sir, especially as you highlight even more products that can be available in Canada. Now, when we circle back to this investigation into Walmart, Hugo Boss, and Diesel, what do we know so far about their supply chains and where they source their products?
Well, I'd like to start with the course announcement on launching the probe into this. This is the first time in Canadian history that Canadian ombudsperson is launching such claim. It's the first step in the history of Canada. I would say that we have presented very solid evidence to CORE, and we're glad that our claims were found admissible and credible enough to grant the warrant and launch investigation. I would say the science is on our side. We have a modern day technology like DNA testing, and that technology permits allows us to trace the origin of cotton within 1 kilometer from within of the cotton field where it's been picked up. So that's here we go with the DNA sampling. And coming back to international brands you have mentioned, since these are international brands, there is no way that they are not well aware of the international affairs, and and they are oblivious to the fact that there is an ongoing genocide.
All right, sir, just a quick 45 seconds left here, sir. But many of our viewers might be thinking that they want to help. They want to make a difference in this. So what can our Canadian viewers do to play their part in order to reject the Uyghur genocide in China?
Well, I would say that be vigilant about what you consume. Do not buy into the cheap, look at the price, you have to question where these are originating from, and ask yourself whether you are indirectly subsidizing the ongoing genocide. And maybe it comes to the point that it's up to our lawmakers to frame and ban all imports from Uyghur region. Something similar been done in US, in EU, Australia is considering this, UK is doing it. Why not Canada? I can say here that Canada officially became a dumping ground for products tainted by slave labor. And there is even cases that US customs seizing exports, re-exportation of goods of Uyghur origin coming from Canada. So I would say that right now Canada is in breach of its own international obligations under CUSMA, Canada, US, Mexico Free Trade Agreement. So there is a lot to do. We have to be vigilant and ask questions
A lot of
and demand,
changes.
yes, and demand transparency, most of all toTransparency.
Definitely, sir. A lot of changes needing to be made in our country. Sir, we really appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.